Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this.
You know, we've been keeping a close eye on that cone, but we really just can't stress enough as meteorologists. We still don't have a great idea exactly where it's going to make landfall, and that's why just outside of the cone, either side, you got to keep an eye on this storm.
Yeah, you know, and I would really want to be on my toes there in the Houston area because, as you mentioned, when you think about the trend over the last several days, it's been edging westward, and we're seeing that even now, and the Hurricane Center doesn't want to move too quickly because they don't want to...
And you know, Carl, when you add in that tag ahead of a hurricane, when you say, okay, it's now become a major hurricane, which would be Category 3 or higher, people start paying a little bit more attention. So already forecast to be a Cat 3, a major hurricane. As far as intensification above that, what are we thinking? What are the models thinking about that?
Well, you know, there's a lot of things that are favorable in terms of intensification, that's for sure. And so you think about some analogs in history. Certainly Rita comes to mind, 2005, and that was devastating in southwest Louisiana. If it comes in there, it could be similar to that. Also, we can think about Ike that came into south.
All right, thanks so much, Ken Graham, the director of the National Hurricane Center. Want to get back out to Houston, where meteorologist Felicia Combs is this morning. Felicia, I don't know if you could hear that interview, but there was Ken Graham, you know, saying we could still see shifts farther west, and that would have major impacts for Houston.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And of course, Jacqui, that's why we have to keep a very close eye on this and remind everyone that even outside of the cone, you're going to feel some impacts. But certainly if Houston gets placed more in the cone, then more impacts will be felt. But the main point today is you need to get prepared. And also just a reminder, we have mandatory evacuations already for Port Arthur and Galveston. So if you can stay home and stay off the roads after you get your preparations done in Houston, that would be the best bet. We want to keep those roads and those freeways as open as possible for the people that are already trying to do those evacuations. Of course, we're keeping a close eye on Laura, and we have everything you need to know as we continue.
We're waiting on the latest advisory now from the National Hurricane Center. That will come by the top of the hour. When that comes in, of course, we'll bring that to you, but not expecting much in terms of major changes. We've been watching the structure of Laura, which is now a hurricane. If you're just joining us, with 75-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds, it's moving west-northwest at 16 miles per hour, and it's just around 575 miles away from the U.S. coastline into parts of Louisiana. So this is you know, becoming a pretty healthy storm. We can see some good outflow on the north side of all of this, and we'll going to continue to have to watch some of those trends as it's interacting also with a little bit of dry air. But the forecast is for this to intensify, likely becoming a major hurricane before landfall. And landfall could happen, you know, overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning. That's a very scary time when the worst of the conditions come in the middle of the night when everything's dark out. We've got our hurricane warnings in effect for parts of the Texas and Louisiana coastlines, as well as hurricane watches. And there you can see the tropical storm warnings on the periphery of all of this. So we will see some widespread impacts from this. So I want to bring in our storm specialist, Carl Parker. And Carl, wanted to get your take on all of this. You know, we're seeing some kind of tightening, almost the appearance